Tonight, little Ruby, the heartbreaking face of Queensland's COVID crisis, our youngest victim. The staggering cost of Wellcamp finally revealed, more than $200 million, and it's already being mothballed. Another big inflation hit, the highest in 30 years, puts more pressure on interest rates. And what a spectacle, your exclusive sneak peek at the Commonwealth Games opening ceremony.
Live from Brisbane, 7 News with Max Butcher.
Good evening. A beautiful baby girl. Tonight, Ruby Grace Edwards, the state's youngest COVID victim, is being remembered by family and loved ones. Her death has sparked renewed calls for vaccination in children under 5 and for everyone to take this rapidly spreading virus seriously.
23 months, just 2 weeks shy of her second birthday.
4, 5.
On Sunday, Ruby Grace Edwards became the youngest victim of COVID in Queensland. She contracted the virus 2 weeks ago, triggering a rare neurological autoimmune disease attacking her brain and vital functions. Ruby's father, Stephen, currently sick with COVID himself, taking to social media, writing Ruby fought long and hard, but the condition was too aggressive, ruthless and relentless. Adding to this tough time, Ruby's mother, Crystal, is expecting a baby boy on Friday. It feels like the world is falling apart. This is supposed to be such a happy time where our family would become complete, but is now so broken.
My heart just goes out to that family, and of course our health workers who would have done everything that they could.
Every Queenslander should have them in their thoughts and prayers.
Ruby's family have thanked the hard-working medical teams from Logan Hospital and here at the Children's Hospital, saying they did their very best and are eternally grateful for their effort and care. Top doctors are concerned about the care they can give other patients.
This is not going to be our last wave. The situation is dire.
Right now, there are 1,023 in hospital with COVID. 26 are in ICU. The Deputy Premier insists the prediction of a late August peak is, for now, just a prediction.
We can all change that curve by following the health advice.
But hospitals are struggling now with dwindling staff numbers and rising case figures, 8,209 new infections and 19 deaths overnight.
I'm not surprised we're here. We knew that the hospital system was already overstretched.
We remain within the thresholds of that surge planning.
When doctors have been warning about this for 2.5 years and there's been no action, is there any wonder why there's apprehension from Queenslanders? Especially
among Queensland parents and grandparents.
A white elephant and a waste of taxpayers' money. That's how the opposition is summing up the cost of Wellcamp, which has finally been revealed. The quarantine facility has cost hundreds of millions of dollars, but in another twist, it's set to be mothballed within days.
Hailed as the solution to hotel quarantine woes.
This is impressive.
But for so long, the money poured into Wellcamp has been shrouded in secrecy.
It's commercial and confidence arrangements.
Until now.
No one has stayed there.
Waste of money. Order.
White elephant in Wellcamp.
The Deputy Premier using estimates hearings to reveal the numbers.
The capital and leasing costs will total $198.5 million.
But all up, to run the facility, it's costing taxpayers $223.5 million. In 5 months, 730 people have stayed in it. That equates to $306,164.38 per person. There's the bill for catering, cleaning and security, with $9 million paid to the Compass Group, $16 million to Aspen Medical for health services so far, and $14 million for a quarantine task force which also oversees hotels and the Pinkenba facility. Stephen Miles insists the government always intended to release the figures, but had to wait while the Wagners negotiated with their suppliers.
The Wagners already owned the land, which meant we could get the facility up and running faster.
3 people stayed at Wellcamp last night, 4 today, but from Monday it will be empty. The government deciding to shut it down.
Will be placed in care and maintenance.
Also announcing the federal government's Pinkenba site won't be needed either, all the while defending the millions spent on Wellcamp.
A dedicated quarantine facility provided the confidence we needed to open state and international borders.
A facility we'll never actually own, the taxpayers will never own.
Thank you.
But they'll pay for it until the $150 million lease expires in April next year.
Australians are being warned to brace for another 18 months of soaring grocery prices. Inflation has hit a staggering 6.1%, the steepest it's been in 3 decades.
Climate activists making a searing statement as the Prime Minister's driven to work his head in a newspaper. In the headlines, bad news.
Inflation is high and rising.
Jumping 1.8% in the June quarter to 6.1% for the year. The cost of living soaring to its equal highest in 30 years.
Things will get worse before they get better, but they will get better.
The sharpest increases over the past year, petrol up 32%, the cost of building 20%. But the most punishing rises in the past quarter at the supermarket, and with suppliers seeking further increases.
It could take up to 18 months for prices to come back down.
A huge policy challenge for a new government.
The most vulnerable people are making decisions between, vegetables or rent.
Even last month's 5.2% minimum wage rise is now an effective wage cut. The unions arguing that corporate profits have risen 21% in the past year, while wages have effectively gone backwards.
We have a wages crisis in this country, and if you're on a low income, then you spend more of your wage on the bare necessities.
The Reserve Bank now likely to increase interest rates again next week by another 0.5%.
That would be the third in a row, and then we think they will deliver another 50 basis points in September as well.
As the International Monetary Fund issues a bleak warning.
The world may soon be teetering on the edge of a global recession.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers will release an updated statement on the Australian economy tomorrow.
It will be confronting.
As Shadow Treasurer, he accused the Morrison government of having no plan to tackle the cost of living. Now the tables have turned. Mark Riley, 7 News.
Pauline Hanson has been labelled an absolute racist after storming out of the Senate. The controversial One Nation leader interrupted the acknowledgement of country, saying she has as much right to this land as anyone.
Never one to shy away from controversy, Pauline Hanson is again demanding attention, storming out of the Senate.
Well, if you know me, I always speak my mind.
Interrupting the presidents in the middle of the acknowledgement of country.
And pay respects to elders past and present of all Australia's Indigenous peoples.
Her words muffled, she made them clear later.
Well, I called out, no I won't, and I never will.
The outburst, relatively tame by her standards.
Ban the burqa.
Controversial since the beginning.
I believe we are in danger of being swamped by Asians.
Critics calling today's display as offensive as ever.
I really just couldn't disagree with Pauline Hanson more.
Ultimately, the act of an absolute racist.
The acknowledgement has been delivered daily in the Parliament for more than a decade. Senator Hanson's heard it hundreds of times before. She says her actions today were prompted by a motion from the government to display the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander flags in the Senate chamber.
I move the motion.
Those of that opinion say aye. Against? I believe the ayes have it.
I'm warning people, this is divisive.
Order.
We are one nation, one people, one flag.
Saying from now on she'll refuse to acknowledge country in the Senate.
As far as I'm concerned, I have as much right to this land as any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander.
Rob Scott, 7 News.
The 7 Manly players boycotting Thursday night's NRL match over the Sea Eagles pride jersey are taking their protest further. They're now staging a no-show to Brookvale Oval after learning celebrities knew what was happening while they were kept in the dark.
Not playing, but still needed for training, the 7 Manly Sea Eagles boycotting tomorrow's NRL game, putting faith before football.
Disappointing with everything at the moment, isn't it?
No comment. After refusing to wear the pride jerseys, meant as a statement of support for LGBTQI, players of Pacific Island background, backed by their religious leaders.
I'm not surprised, but I'm very supportive of their stance.
The pride kit was modelled by a Hollywood actor. Plans date back months.
When I knew about the pride round, this pride round a month ago, I was approached a month ago, would I be involved? Obviously, yes.
But only in the past few days, were players told.
Would have to be done with great sensitivity, not sprung on anyone. And sadly, in their exuberance, Manly sprang this good cause on everyone.
Leaving her to plead